Gavin Mehl out in Las Vegas right now. I'm here with Ashton. He's actually watched my YouTube channel from way back in the day. So, and we just met each other for the first time, and he had a bunch of people on his channel that he's gonna talk about, and we just want to just kind of shoot the breeze. So, Austin, introduce yourself.
Yeah, Ashton Addison.
I'm sorry, Ashton. Yeah,
it's okay.
Ashton, yeah,
Crypto Coin Show, one of the longest standing interview podcast shows since 2014. Over 1,500 episodes. Watched the industry go from the size of a meme coin to where we're at now. And now we're uniting here at Bitcoin 2026 in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty amazing. Yeah. So tell me about some of the takeaways of you're dealing with founders. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were speaking to a founder right now, like what would you tell that person from all the experience that you've had? Like, what would be some good sound advice?
Well,
first takeaway?
If you're looking to raise capital, have a solid foundation.
Go ahead, Casey.
Okay.
Yeah. So tell me more about what you're. Just tell me. Are you on? Yeah. Okay. I can clip that together. So yeah. Just tell me more about like what do you think? Charts. We were just looking at charts. Like we were just talking about some exciting stuff regarding the charts. Tell me what you thought about the charts you were just looking at. Well, we were talking first of all about BSV, and you're dealing with all these things. Like, what does your first gut tell you?
I was just looking at the charts. I have friends that have built indicators that overlay onto the TradingView charts that just lay it out. Like Engineering Robo or another friend that's created the Burbicator, just lays out buy, neutral, sell right on the charts. Was looking at BSV from the beginning of 2026 until today, almost 4 or 5 months in. It's been in an ascending channel moving upwards. Not ready for breakout just yet. Maybe the movie and the other content that's coming out, thanks to your inputs as well about BSV, will help push that up. But I think just the overall rise of Bitcoin and Ethereum, what we're seeing in the second half of 2026, the industry moves in cycles, and we've been in that downtrend consolidation since last October. It's now getting to the point where the projects that have more real fundamentals are still doing quite well in a sense that they haven't gone to zero like some other meme coins or phantomware kinds of things like that. Yeah. So BSV is actually looking not too bad for 2026 so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
For those who haven't heard about it, there's going to be a massive movie that's going to come out next. Well, it looks like end of this year or 2027. It's going to Cannes right now. It's called Bitcoin Killing Satoshi, featuring Casey Affleck as the main character, and then there's also a guy called Pete Davidson's playing Calvin Ayre. Yeah. So that's Titan of Blockchain. So it's really going to be a huge plug, and it's going to tell the whole story basically on what happened during all those trials, the Kleiman trial and then the Copa trial and the entertaining. It's a spy thriller. It's going to be like it's Born Identity meets Bitcoin, because it's the Born Identity director Doug Lehman that's doing it, and Ryan Kavanaugh, who did Social Network. The Social Network story, which is the Facebook story. Yeah. That same guy, Ryan Kavanaugh, is the one who's doing this on the production side, and then Doug Lehman, Born Identity, is doing directing. I mean, it's kind of a big deal.
It's nice to have Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, BSV, Ethereum, moving more into the mainstream, into film and pop culture in a way that's not just like, look at the coin, look at the chart. Like there's a story behind it. Yeah. It's
a story, and it's a cool spy thriller, I think, story that everyone's gonna like. Yeah. I mean, if I don't know, I'm not a chart person, but I'm thinking about, I don't know, it's a big freaking deal, put it that way. We're just talking about how it's such a small industry, dude. Yeah. In fintech overall, if this were to get out and Casey Affleck and Ben Affleck's, people in Hollywood started getting involved, what would happen?
Well, there's a lot of people in Hollywood, I'm sure they are involved, at least in Bitcoin so far. And, the strategic investors, the ETF owners, that now they have to disclose. But, the private investors, the Hollywood big money, they are smart in that they're not announcing, hey, I'm buying, I'm buying a bunch of Bitcoin or buying a bunch of BSV right now. You buy first, talk about it later with the film and everything else.
Exactly.
So
I feel like I shouldn't talk about this too much, to be honest. I kind of like one of those things. Like I get it. Like it's almost like let's not talk about it. But at the same time, I feel like I have a kind of a duty to at least tell like my friends and followers like what's going on, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I'm super excited to see the film.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, what else? Any takeaways for what people can follow you and like how we can work together?
I'm always investigating different projects, different protocols, different dApps, and different service level companies that are integrating Bitcoin and blockchain technology into different industries, because it's going to innovate every industry.
Yeah.
If you do transactions or store data, which is every industry, it's going to be disrupted by cryptocurrency and blockchain technology.
Who are some of the? I mean, you had Hoskinson on.
We just had Charles Hoskinson on last week.
Is that the biggest person influencer you had, or have you had?
We had John McAfee on. Rest in peace.
Wow. McAfee.
Before, when he was hiding in the mountains of India, at some point, I don't know exactly where, but Roger Ver and Brock Pierce and
you had Brock?
Yeah, a few times, and Max Kaiser.
You know Brock? Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Wow.
Over the years.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we've had some big ones, but we're always featuring new projects and also returning projects that are focused on innovating in the current narrative. More recently, we've seen obviously a lot of AI.
This great. Yeah, we'll go out. Look at this great thing in the back, Casey.
We've seen a lot of AI, a lot of stable coins, of course, since the Genius Act.
Oh, sorry, Casey, to turn this way. I want to get this. Look at that great shot here.
We've seen
here
a lot of stablecoin and payment rails stuff, because really that's going to onboard a lot of companies into digital assets. As stablecoins, it becomes a pretty big realization for any company that's doing business that stablecoins are better than fiat, especially in global commerce.
Yeah, exactly. And how do, as a startup, I mean, are you doing a startup right now? Or you're on your own, or do you have
purely running the media network?
You're running media only.
Yeah, a media empire that is...
A media empire?
Of course. It's not just a small little thing.
What?
Well, video, audio, socials, written.
Okay.
We have thousands of people reading our newsletter multiple times per week.
Wow.
Always putting out articles on CryptoCoinShow.com. We're doing 5+ articles just on our 90-minute talk with Charles, which covered all of the current issues in crypto politics, the good and the bad, and how we're onboarding the next billion people into crypto without them knowing it. With the basic things that people are using on their phones, like biometric with your fingerprint, not having to write down your seed phrase and lose it, connect that in an end-to-end encryption into Google Storage or Dropbox and things like that allow more people to be able to hold different assets like Bitcoin, like BSV as well. Charles' new project, Midnight Network and Midnight Passport, will bring privacy compliance to every chain, including BSV.
Wow.
Yeah. It actually helps institutions and corporations be more okay with holding smaller assets like BSV, because they understand that they're used to the compliant privacy in traditional finance, where if you're trying to use insider secrets or your strategic advantage to make a trade in TradFi, there's an opaque wall there. But in how it works right now with Bitcoin and with BSV, with a fully transparent blockchain, you can't make a trade without everybody watching your wallet and then copy trading you or seeing exactly what you hold. If you bring in something like Charles's new Midnight Network, Midnight Passport, you can add privacy that's also compliant, which is the most important part for corporations, because they're not just going to go full Monero here. They're not allowed to, because the way that
it's got to be 100% compliant.
Crypto is being institutionalized.
How can it be compliant if it's so private?
Well, through things like end-to-end encryption, the latest forms of encryption is called FHE, fully homomorphic encryption, and then zero-knowledge proofs, and ways that you can use encryption to prove that you're compliant and do KYC without having to give away all your secrets.
Yeah. So your media company's doing newsletters, and you're doing massive, like, this is it. You're focused on media.
There's always so much to cover. If you're not struggling to keep up, then you're not looking enough.
There isn't enough media outlets, it seems like, right?
There's been a consolidation of different media companies that have started to focus more on data because they saw that these enterprises also want a lot of data, and they're paying more for data than they are for media. So there's still a handful, but I wouldn't say there's as much as there is in traditional media. But you could probably count on one or two hands how many purely crypto media companies there are, because of the the business models, and because the industry is small.
It's so small, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the smaller innovative projects, it's getting harder for them to raise capital, because now that it's more mainstream, companies want to see more. You can't just have a white paper, raise 10 million. You actually have to have, especially with AI, you have to pretty much have everything fully built with customers, full revenue, everything, before you can raise capital to scale.
What would you say, like, some of the major takeaways are from Brock Pierce? Since I haven't seen your interviews with him. I mean, he's such a legend, right? So it's like...
He's invested in so many things.
Yeah.
When he came on the show, we actually talked about different, he's based in Puerto Rico. There's a whole Puerto Rico scene of people that realize that Puerto Rico has huge tax advantages with, like, no capital gains and 4% tax if you live there. And also, we just had the godfather of crypto, Michael Turpin. He's also Puerto Rican based.
I don't even know who that is.
He's the guy who was SIM swapped and lost $25 million to SIM swapping. He sued AT&T and won.
Wow.
So he's based in Puerto Rico. He actually just came out with a book that predicting the it's called Bitcoin Supercycle, predicting the 4 seasons of Bitcoin. In January, he came on the show. He predicted Bitcoin bottom of 60,000, and we literally hit 60,000 on the dollar in February. So if that was the bottom, he called it pretty well after calling it out on the show.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a huge scene there, and the good news is I think the bottom's in. Bitcoin is the boat that raises all other, the tide that raises all boats, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to help the crypto industry. It's been long enough.
Yeah, I mean, the administration is so bullish on everything right now, and I mean that's just gotta have a huge impact, right? I mean, what is the impact overall on?
They are, at least they say. It's sort of like watch what they do, not what they say. They haven't yet purchased Bitcoin into the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. They've converted Bitcoin that they confiscated into the reserve. They've yet to actually purchase new Bitcoin, which will be a huge catalyst when they do, which they will eventually. Actually, Cynthia Lummis, the senator who just spoke, is responsible for the Bitcoin Act, which is an act that is attempting to have the government purchase 1 million Bitcoin to add it to the strategic reserve.
Oh, okay.
So
she's going to try to pass a bill to get...
she's been spearheading that. She actually... She's the senator in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Charles Hoskinson lives in Wyoming. He deals with her very closely as he's very entwined in the politics. Being a founder of Ethereum, he's trying to make sure that he has a say in making sure that the industry goes in the right direction.
Yeah.
And so we talk a lot about that in the interview as well. Yeah.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Freaking amazing, dude. Oh man, we got to connect. Well, that's where can people find you at?
Yeah. Crypto Coin Show on YouTube. If you're looking for articles and breaking news, our Telegram, Crypto Coin Chat, or just CryptoCoinShow.com, and the Substack that we put out multiple times per week, CryptoCoinShow.substack.com.
Austin.
Ashton.
Ashton but you're in Austin.
That's
so that's where I was getting. So it's Ashton in Austin from Vancouver.
That's right.
Very cool.
You got it. Thank you, Gavin.
The ones, yeah.